All right, so I wanted to jump on here today. Please excuse the video quality. I don't know how it's going to turn out this time because I normally use my phone to record, but because I've got to show you what I'm doing on my phone, we're going to use my computer, and I do not know how quality the camera is on the computer, right? But so we're going to give this bad boy a shot. We've been talking a lot about nutrition recently and tracking the nutrition recently, right? And so it has come to my attention that maybe we need to show you how we're going to use MyFitnessPal to help us track everything that we're going to try to get, right? So I'm going to turn this computer around, I'm going to bust out my phone, and I'm going to show you things we can manipulate on the... What do you got there, dude? String cheese? String cheese, it is. On the app, how we're going to use it to best to help us get what we want to get, right? So I'm going to flip this guy around. Flip this guy around, and I'm going to give you a sweet little hug, right, with my arms wrapped around you, like so, right? So, for your viewing pleasure, you've got a nice little first-person view of my phone, okay? So I've got my phone. I need to scroll over. MyFitnessPal is down here, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and launch the app. The app is launching. It is loading. If you have an Android, I feel bad for you. And you should just go out and buy an iPhone. But the app is going to look just a little bit different, right? But it functions exactly the same. Oh, snap doobie. Are you still there? Is it still recording? I hope it was still recording. Well, we're going to continue forward. And, well, no, we're going to stop it right now. Just to... All right, so we're back. So launching the app, right? You see that? Okay, launching the app. Bam. So here is the main page where I go into the app, right? We have down here on the bottom where we're able to report things. Up here on top is where it shows my goals for my calories today, okay? Now, the initial time that you are launching the app, it's going to ask you a bunch of questions about your goal, how much weight you want to lose, stuff like that. Go ahead and just kind of throw anything in there. We're okay with that, right? Because we are going to change the numbers after we put that in there already. So, but if you have a goal weight, that is basically if your goal is to lose or gain weight, just go ahead and throw that in there in the beginning, right? So we're going to go in here and we're just going to show you some things. First thing that we are going to do is we're going to go down here to where it says more, down here in this right corner where it says more, okay? Now I'm into this, I've got a bunch of different options in here, right? We're going to go to goals, okay? Now, so the goal that I set when we were setting this thing up is that I wanted to gain weight, right? And I wanted to gain a ½ pound per week, okay? And I set my activity level at lightly active. All of us are at least, at the most, lightly active. So lightly active is fairly sedentary, like a desk job, right? So most of our day is spent at a desk, sitting in a chair, right? Most of our day is sitting in a chair. And then maybe if you CrossFit 4 or 5 days a week, then we're lightly active, right? If you're only CrossFitting, if you're only getting exercise once or twice a week, then you're even less active than lightly active, okay? So that's how we sort of set this guy up, right? And that's how the app is deciding on how many calories I need. is based on the fact that I want to gain weight, that I'm lightly active, and that I currently weigh that much, right? So what we're going to change here, though, is because based on that stuff, MyFitnessPal is going to decide how many calories you should eat, okay? And I think they're wrong. I don't agree with the breakdown of the macronutrients, the protein, fat, and carbs that they would suggest, right? And no, I mean, it's not necessarily their fault. They're just an app. They don't have all the information right, and it's not necessarily their goal to stay up on that stuff, right? They're just trying to sell you on all these premium, because their money is in selling the app, right? So we're not going to blame them for not knowing well, I'm getting a phone call. Answer it later. They can leave a message. So right here we'll go to calorie and macronutrient. Underneath in goals we have nutrition goals. So we're going to go to calorie and macronutrient goals. Okay. Now it's going to say what your default goal is. Okay. We want to change this guy. So you click on one of them, right? Remember, so right here it says carbs, protein, fat. If you are a girl, I want you to adjust this number, the protein number, so that that little number underneath it, grams, says between 150 and 200, right? We want at least 1 gram per pound that you weigh. If you weigh less than 150 pounds, we want to get to closer to 150, right? Now, if you are really little and you don't even weigh 100 pounds, then that protein number can be closer to 100 and you'll be okay, right? But if you weigh 120 and above, we're just going to draw a line. 120 and above, I want protein to be at 150 grams per day. If you are a man, then we want that number to be at least 200. Okay. Now, if you weigh more than 200, then we're going to get that number should be your weight, how much you weigh, right? Now you'll notice mine says 228, which is a little bit lower than my current weight. But at this time, I am struggling to get even 228 grams of protein. So to get 250 grams of protein is another 32 grams of protein. It's just, I'm working on it, right? Slowly getting better. But for right now, that's just a lot. So we want to set that number to your grams of protein, okay? So for me, 228 grams is 30% of my macros, okay? Then we want our carbs. Over here, you're going to adjust the carbs, this little thing, so it also reads 30%, okay? That leaves 40% of the calories you get in a day is fat, right? And then down here, it tells us our goal, so that if we happen to be lower than 100% and goes, hey, you need to bump something up, and if it's above, it goes, hey, bro, you can't be more than 100%, right? Referring back to a previous video. If you haven't seen that, please go watch it. Or I'll post it again. So we want that to be, the total to be a 100%, right? So that is my protein based on my body weight, and then we're going to get 30% of whatever is remaining in carbs and 40% of the remaining from fat, right? So then I'm going to go ahead and click the check mark, okay? Now, that saves all of the things, right? Now, this total calorie number is derived from your weight and the goal that you set, right? So that number we're going to play around with a little bit based on how the results we're getting from this, right? We want to pay really close attention to stuff that's happening with your nutrition, because we don't want to go too long in a wrong direction, okay? So we'll go back. So again, right, I've set up my goal, okay? So we go back to my dude. Now let's go to my daily diary, okay? Today, I have not entered in any food, all right? So down here I have all of my things, okay? So we're going to go into what I had for breakfast. Now, because I have entered stuff in here before, okay, I have things that I've eaten in the past. I eat lots of the same things, right? So it makes it easy for me to just go ahead and throw in. So for breakfast this morning, I had 2 packets of oatmeal. So we're going to throw that in there, right? Then we're going to add a food. I also have had a celery, 2 stalks of celery with my peanut butter. I guess 4 tablespoons. I don't know exactly how much I scoop out of there on each stalk, but I fill the stalk all the way up, right? So you've seen quickly I've gotten up to 712 calories so far just from my breakfast. And I have 2,328 remaining, okay? So we're going to add, I'm just about to eat lunch, okay? Now, right here it says my chili, okay? So what I did is I created a food, right? I took all of my ingredients, I added up the protein, fat, and carbs that are in my recipe of all the ingredients that I threw into the thing. My chili is a can of pre-made chili and that I add extra protein to, right? So I added all of those up. Then I add up all of the macronutrients, okay? Then I divide those numbers by the amount of portions that I serve it into, right? Not how many portions it says that it makes, okay? But how many little food trays that I break it up into. And the chili that I make usually makes about 8 servings, right? So each one of those servings is right here, is 920 calories. So we'll go ahead and bust that guy, right? And yes, we got him. Okay, so now I am up to 1,632 calories consumed, and I've got another 1,400 to go, right? So now, if you eat lots of the same food, okay, over and over and over, we're going to put it into dinner this time. You can click down here in this bottom, it says multi-add, okay? Let's say you eat the same food every single day. You're super boring, and you eat the same stuff all the time. So we can come in here at the end of your day and hit multi-add, right? It doesn't matter what meal you put it into. You can put it all into one meal because we don't care, right? So let's say I'm going to multi-add. All of my thing, I'm going to have another thing of chili later, okay? I'm going to have another snack of peanut butter and celery, okay? And then tonight I will have 3 more eggs, right? And I've had my CLA today. Okay, so we're adding 5 things, right? All at once. So adding all 5. Bam. And I even went over my calories just a tiny bit for today, which is probably good because, like I said, I've been having a hard time getting all of the protein. So if we scroll all the way down to nutrition, click on that nutrition button. Oh, looks like I'm still a little low on my protein for today. My carbs are a little low, but I've gotten more fat than I needed to, right? And I still had 81 grams of sugar, which is kind of a lot, right? Kind of a lot. Now, fat and carb, I mean, whatever. Like, we trade one for the other, right? But protein, I definitely need to still get more protein. I haven't even crossed the 200 gram mark for today with all the things that I've eaten. So I definitely need to slam a couple protein shakes because those are going to be real high protein, low everything else, right? But you'll notice that I'm going to be over my total calories by quite a bit, okay? So we're still trying to refine things, right? So if you're now tracking this all the time is cumbersome, is annoying, is something that you're not going to do, right? But if we can plug in every once in a while or a good solid 3 days in a row, then we will know kind of where we're at, and then we can adjust from there, right? Because we know I'm not getting enough protein right now. I need to eat more protein. Again, carbs and fat cancel each other out because I'm getting more fat, which is good. Higher fat is better than higher carb, because we know currently right now I am losing fat, right? I'm leaning out a little bit. So I would even do better by adding more protein. Okay, the sugar number is surprising. I didn't think I was eating that much sugar, but it's probably mostly from the oatmeal. I know that peanut butter has a little bit in there too, right? But my yummy tasting oatmeal is probably where most of that sugar is coming from. Well, let's see if it'll show me. So yeah, so all of my, so 76% of my sugar came from breakfast. So what did, oh crap, that's Monday. Let's go back to today. No, today. Okay. So what did I have for breakfast? I had the oatmeal and peanut butter. So definitely the oatmeal is where all that sugar is coming from, right? Sugar, 18 grams per serving. Yep, and I had 2 of them. So that's 36 grams of sugar just right there. Bam. Maybe I need to rethink the kind of oatmeal that I have. But we're seeing the results that we want to see, right? I'm leaning out. We could probably lean out just a little bit faster if I were to cut that sugar and get the protein where I need it to be, right? But, so I'll flip it back around to me. So that's kind of where we're at with this stuff, right? And so you can see how MyFitnessPal can be beneficial, right? Now, again, it's not something that we are going to try to watch or use all the time, but it is something that we can, it's useful for us for now, right? So that's just, if you have any questions, any more questions, hit me up. I can break it down even more. And again, this is just super general. It gets, nutrition has to be specific, and it gets specific real fast, right? So if you have any more questions, just feel free to ask, but this was at least show you how we are going to use MyFitnessPal to help you get a little bit better.